We begin with breaking news on the resumption of the NBA season. The National Basketball Association Board of Governors has voted to approve a 22-team single-site format to restart this season amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And I want to run you guys through the plan here.
The season is over for 8 teams, Woj. What has the reaction been from those teams?
Listen, there are several teams that are very disappointed that they can't play, not only because they wanted to be a part of the NBA's restart, they want to feel like they're still part of the league with everybody going to Orlando, but especially...
What is up, guys? My name is Philip Solomon Toure and I'm a sports psychology consultant, and you are tuned in to Psych-Pass Shoot Score, giving you amazing content on anything sports psychology and anime. So hit that subscribe button if any of those topics interest you. And we have finally heard word, a nice Woj bomb. The NBA is returning and it's coming back July 30th. And that's the most recent information that I've heard once recording this. So excited that it's coming back. Unfortunately, my Knicks aren't coming back, but I'm just so excited to see some NBA basketball happening in the near future. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is talking about 3 topics that I feel athletes should be made aware of when the season returns and when teams come back, as these are going to have a major impact on how teams perform and who's going to be crowned champion. So without further ado, let's get into it.
He's up and under, throws it off the backboard. Oh, what a perfect pass to himself.
So the first psychological area that I feel fans should be made aware of is decision making. So basketball is so heavily based on players being presented with multiple options during the match and deciding to choose the right option. Not only that, but basketball is such a fast-paced sport which requires athletes not only to make the right decision, but to do so in a small window of opportunity. We've all seen this window, and it's the difference between a nice dime for an easy layup or a bad pass which results into a steal. Looking into some sports psychology research, a study conducted by Scalan, Humphreys, Tucker and Dablow looked into elite basketball players' decision-making abilities and found that those players who make better decisions and perform better on the task were those who were physically fitter. So what that basically means is that due to the pause in the NBA season, players not only won't be physically fit, but because of this lack of fitness, psychologically this impacts the accuracy of their decision-making abilities. So get ready to see a lot of turnovers and a lot of players huffing and puffing at the start of when the season resumes. But I feel as the season progresses and they get more matches under their belt, this shouldn't be as much of a problem, as they physically get fitter and mentally kind of get a lot sharper. And so let me know in the comment section whether you agree, and let me know who you think is going to win the championship. So the second area that I feel fans should be made aware of, and an area which I feel is definitely going to have a major impact on the season when it does return, is confidence. Players are used to practicing and playing matches regularly, and with that consistency breeds a good foundation of confidence in their shot and moves that they can pull off against opponents. But then with their lack of training that they would have had, combining that with the fact that every team's match from the get-go holds weight, especially for those teams who are trying to get into the playoffs and for those teams who are trying to hold their playoffs position. This pressure is definitely not going to help them as they try to get their high levels of confidence back. A study conducted by Maha found that players' ability to perform well in pressurized moments is seen through their confidence levels. This basically means that if confidence is low, don't expect your favorite player to hit that buzzer-beating shot. But for those athletes who have been working really hard during this quarantine period, their confidence level should translate a lot better in this environment, and that should definitely help their team produce the performance that they need to win multiple games. And not only will this help them produce the performance to help their team win games, this leads to the next and final psychological area which I feel fans should be made aware of, and that's getting athletes into a good rhythm.
Again, you have to have a true love for the game if you're going to excel in this type of environment. You have to have a mental fortitude that allows you to still want to be there for 3 months in a hotel room. I mean, this is going to challenge every bit of mental strength, and that's why, to me, it's so fascinating.
So players getting into a comfortable rhythm plays a huge part in whether stars such as Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James and James Harden can get hot on the court, best helping their team win the matches, or if they remain cold for the whole match, putting up mediocre numbers as their team suffers a loss. Players getting into a good rhythm need to use the previous areas already mentioned to get into a good mental state on the court. Getting into a good rhythm on the court helps athletes feel comfortable in their decision-making abilities and confident in their shot, which could last the whole match. But due to COVID-19 and having to stay and play games in the Orlando bubble, this unfamiliar environment off the court has major impacts to athletes' performance on the court. If this is affecting players, one thing that I would recommend and one thing that I do with athletes that I work with is help them create a pre-performance routine. A lot of athletes get really nervous before the matches, and especially in matches which are away. This is going to be quite similar to all the NBA teams, as all of them are technically going to be playing away matches in that Orlando bubble. And so one thing that I would recommend they do is create a pre-performance routine, a set of different instructions that they could help themselves get into a good mental state either before the match or during the match if they get kind of rattled. And so what that will allow them to do is reset and put them in a good mental state, not only to become confident and not only to improve their decision making abilities, but that enables them to get comfortable and get into a good rhythm on the court to best produce a performance to help their team win. So there you have it. I'm so glad that the NBA is back, and I'm so looking forward to seeing some amazing matches. I'm just looking forward to seeing how this environment and how these unique situations impact the players, and seeing the players who really thrive in that environment and players who don't really produce the same performance that they were doing in the regular season beforehand. So thank you for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.